John Alzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Alzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Alzheimer, and I'm a consumer credit expert with time spent previously at Equifax, which is obviously one of the generally recognized credit reporting agencies, and also FICO, the company that invented the FICO credit scoring system. So today I'm going to address a question actually that came from the Tradeline Supply YouTube channel. And this question is, in your opinion, what would be the best way to go when you want to build or add additional information to your credit history? Adding information to your credit report or credit history there's only a limited number of ways to do this, okay? So the common or prototypical way of doing this is obviously, when you go out and apply for credit somewhere, such as, with a lender or whatnot, it's just going to organically build your credit reports over time. And there's really nothing you need to do in order to accomplish that as long as you're making these applications for credit, and that's just going to happen naturally. That's one way of doing it. There are other ways, obviously. You could become an authorized user on someone's credit card account, and that will result, in most cases, in that account being reported by the card issuer to your credit report information. And to the extent that the account is old, has a high credit limit, is in good standing, that very possibly can actually help not only to rebuild a credit report, but also to rebuild a credit score, that's your strategy or your end game. You can take out a secured credit card, and a secured credit card involves you making a deposit with a bank and the bank issuing a credit card to you with the credit limit being equal to or very close to the amount that you put on deposit with the bank. So essentially you're buying the account to some extent. You can jointly co-sign for some sort of a loan or a credit card. It's not my favorite strategy because you have liability. I don't know that I would ever go into debt just for the purposes of building a credit report. If you're going to go into debt, then there probably should be some other reason why you're doing so. Credit builder loan is a great example of that. So you would go to a credit union, take out a low dollar loan, usually less than $1,000. It's paid back usually very quickly, 6 months to a year. And while you're making those payments, the credit union's reporting the information to the credit bureaus. And really the sole purpose for that is building credit, which is why it's called a credit builder loan. So those are some common ways of doing it. There's a couple of other ways that are what I would call more contemporary methods. One of the things that you may notice when you look at your credit report is that the information in the account section, I'm not talking about public records, I'm not talking about collections, I'm not talking about your identification information. I'm talking about your actual account information, which is referred to as trade. What is almost always in that section is going to be provided to the credit reporting agencies by a financial services company, credit card issuer, credit union, finance company, bank. Of course, there are other examples. Student loan servicers, mortgage loan servicers are two examples of companies that furnish information that aren't necessarily financial services companies per se, because you can't borrow money from them. There are a couple of other options as well. If you have a television, if you've watched TV in the past 2 years, then you've probably noticed advertisements for something called Experian Boost. And what Boost does is it allows you, if you're willing to give up some pretty sensitive information, will actually go out and screen scrape various websites and pull down utility style information and then place it on your Experian credit reports. Like I live in Georgia, so I have an account with Georgia Power, with Georgia Natural Gas. I actually had those added to my Experian credit report through Experian Boost. My score went up 6 points. It's better than a stick in the eye. But some people, as evidenced by some testimonials, have seen their credit scores go up considerably higher. There are some limitations. Obviously, Experian Boost is only available at Experian. So it's not going to help your TransUnion credit reports. It's not going to help your Equifax credit reports because it's, when information is only on one credit report, then it's not going to have any influence over the other two. Another service that's relatively new or newer is something called eCredible Lift. And their product is called Lift. This is a TransUnion service, and it adds similar type of information to your TransUnion credit report, fully FCRA compliant information. It could be both positive and negative, so be aware of that before you start asking for information to be added through eCredible Lift. If you default on any of these accounts, then that's going to end up on your TransUnion credit report. So obviously it would be helpful to your TransUnion credit report and any credit scores calculated off of the TransUnion data. It's not going to help anything at Experian, not going to help anything at Equifax, because again, The only information that is relevant to your credit scores for any particular bureau is going to be the information that that bureau has in their system about you. So those are some pretty decent ways. eCredibleLift, I think the cost is very nominal, like $20 a year. It's almost, it's hardly a rounding error. Experian Boost is free. So to the extent that you want to check out any of those, that's fine. I still like the authorized user strategy. That's how I built credit when I was a young person. You can really check a lot of boxes that way. If you have your name associated with a really old credit card account that has a really high credit limit and a low balance that's always been paid on time, those are all things that in credit scoring systems are good. That's a pretty effective way of building credit, and also a very common and generally accepted, reputable method of establishing credit. So thank you very much for the question. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get to them. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Olsheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.